It's a good song. Today's talk is called The Shunamite Son. And it's metaphysically, the way we teach the Bible. It comes from 2 Kings, 4th chapter. And it's about a woman, Elisha. And Elisha is the Jesus of the Old Testament. It's a funny thing. We always seem to need to put God in the form of a human being to have our healing. So we place more emphasis on the healer than the power flowing through the healer. And so throughout history, through our Bible teachings, throughout other teachings, we have representatives of God. And Elisha was the representative for the Shunamite mother. And Elisha used to go through Shunam on his way to whatever, and one day he met this wealthy woman, Shunamite's mother. We don't know her name, so we'll call her the Shunamite's mother. And she would feed him. So he would often stop there, and eventually she liked him so much, there was something about his energy and everything, that she said to her husband, build a room for him so that when he comes through town he can stay here. Lovely. And one day Elisha was ruminating on her kindness and everything, and so he had his servant, whose name I've just forgotten, and it starts with a B. But he said, bring her, let's talk to her. And he said, you've been so kind to me. What can I do for you, you know? And she said, nothing, really. And he said, what about your children? She says, well, I don't have any children. He says, really? And suddenly he says, well, you're going to. And she said, don't tease me. My husband is very old. And that's not going to happen. He said, no, you're going to have a son. Sure enough, as it always happens in the Bible, when he tells you you're going to have a child, listen up. Pay attention. No age limits in biblical times. So be careful when you pray with me. We might get a message you weren't looking for. Sure enough, she's with child. She has a son. Son grows up, has a great life. And then he gets sick. About 18, he gets very sick. And he goes to his father, and father says, I don't know, go see your mother. Because his mother, the Shunamite's mother, she represents faith. She represents faith in the power of God, the power of good, the power of light, the power of love. And so why wouldn't the Father send him? Because the Father represents, metaphysically, the earth, the material, the physical. And you're never going to find your eternal answers in the physical. So go see your mother. And he does. And he lays down in her lap and he dies. And she takes him to Elisha's room and lays him down on Elisha's bed. And then she tells her servant, get the donkey ready, we've got to go see Elisha. And they go to town full speed, as fast as the donkey can go. And they go to Elisha, and Elisha says, well, here, take my staff and put it on his face. And she said, no, you're coming with me. And so he does. And they go to the room, and he goes into the room, and he sees the child. And what it says is he closes the door to just the two of them. Now what that means metaphysically is he closed out the world so that only the door to truth, to what is, was available. You know, if you're going to have a healing, you cannot have it open to something that is not healing. You cannot open to your mind to an alternative to healing if you want to have a healing. You cannot open your mind to other people's fears and doubts if you want to have a healing. He closed the door. And then it says that he got on the bed with the child and he put his mouth to mouth, he did with the child. And he pushed on his chest, and it said he suddenly felt a warmth from the boy. And then suddenly, the boy sneezed 7 times, and then he got up out of the bed. And then he walked out to his mother in a healing. All based in faith. Faith in the absolute. Now, if all the people there are one person, let's say you, let's say me, that the mother, the father, Elisha, and the son are all me. What that story is saying then is that the child in me has died. The child in me has vanished. The child in me has diminished. The child I thought I could not have again was awakened in me, and then receded. And through faith, the child was brought, in me, is brought back to life. The kid inside is awakened to my eternal nature, to my true nature. And because some of us, you know, we've gone a long way from our child. The joyous child, the playful child. The child that some of us, that was taken away at a very early age from some of us. You know, the innocence, the joy, the freedom, the safety to be a child. And then we come here, and we hear something like, you must be a little child to enter into the kingdom. Which means you got to take on trust again and faith. Faith in the invisible. Faith in that an empty box is more fun to play with than the most complicated video game. Because with an empty box, you have imagination to use. It's not somebody else has created the imagination for you. It's like a day you can't leave the house, but you want to play. You don't want to clean the house and your big day off, you can't go out. You have to use your imagination. Because otherwise, you're stuck behind this. And the kid inside, that lovely, lovely child inside, no matter what anyone might have told some of us, it's that lovely child inside. Has a great imagination. And we're old enough, most of us here now, to play. Most of us here now can make the choice to play. And to heck with anyone's criticism. You know what? I am way too old for somebody to tell me I have no right to play. I am way too old to have anybody tell me that my imagination isn't valid, isn't good. They can tell me, but I'm way too old to listen. That's the point. I'm way too old to adhere to shame because my mother once told me I was bad. Because my father may have said something, my grandparents, because somebody told me I wasn't supposed to play, that I wasn't supposed to do that. I'm too old, way too old. And I've been too old for a lot of years.
Sorry.
That's okay. It doesn't make me an old person. It means I'm an adult. I'm an adult. I no longer need my parents' approval. I no longer need your approval. I want your companionship, not your approval. I want your friendship. And I want you hanging out in the playground with me. I don't want your judgment. What use do I have for your judgment? Or your sister's judgment? What use do I have for your father's judgment? I don't have use for any of that. The mother of the Shunamite boy had faith that she could awaken again. That the child could awaken again. Do you have faith that your child, if your child, maybe some of you, your child is wide awake and having a really nice time. And I hope so, because I have played with some of you, and I know that, but I know a couple of you who don't know how to play. Who could sit in a room full of toys and have not a clue. Not a clue of what to do. Do you know the story? It's one of my favorite stories. Many of you know it's in a lot of books about there's two children getting they're at a lab sort of for a test, and to see what can happen, and one child is put in a room with all the latest toys. With all these most amazing toys, every new video game you could possibly have, every complicated thing. And he's put in there. And there's the other little boy is put in a room waist high in manure. And it's like, what's going on here? But then an hour later, they go into the room with all the toys, the kid's sitting on the floor crying. He's so overwhelmed with stuff and sensation, he doesn't know what to do with it all. And they go down the hall, the other one, they look at, and he's running and laughing and jumping. He's covered in the manure, and he's having the best time. And so they go to, what's going on? And he says, well, with all this horse poo in here, there's got to be a pony somewhere. Look at your life and your world. With all this horse poo, there's got to be a pony somewhere. But you're going to have to change your thought. You're going to have to become the mother of the Shunamites. You're going to have to become the mother, the Shunamite mother to your child, and start believing in life. And start reminding yourself of life. Start reminding yourself of love. Do not take on the father who's convinced that the world is the reality. Do not take on any adult in your life who believes that the world is the truth. You are accountable for that now, not them. You are accountable when you tell yourself that what somebody else thinks is the truth. You are not to blame, you are accountable. You came up these steps today. Nobody, I don't know, as far as I know, was dragged up these steps. Maybe a couple of you, but you still came. You still had a choice. Except that little boy back there. But he seems content. You walked up the steps. 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 Most of you knew what you were getting into when you walked up the steps. Most of you know what I talk about here, which is freedom of thought, which is nurturing, which is possibility. It doesn't have to be hard. I just have to keep choosing again and again and again. And, you know, some of us love science fiction. Some of us love horror movies. But if you do, have fun with them instead of convincing yourself that the horror show is real. It's only in my mind. Either God is or God isn't. That's always what it's going to come down to. The mother in this story believes God is. And her friend Elisha, who she recognized a light in. But she recognized this being can help me when I start to forget. And so she connected him. She associated him with the God of her understanding. And she used him because he was willing to be used. But again, we go back to Elisha, the son, the father, and the mother are all the same. And you and I are one. 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 There's not them and me. In the Bible, when you read all these people, they're all you. And they're states of your thinking. And so metaphysically, we are being told we have a choice. We have a choice in the playground. We can either sit on the sidelines and be afraid of getting hurt, or we can go out in the middle and we can kick that ball with all our might, and we can swing around that merry-go-round, and we can climb the monkey bars. We can play dodgeball, and we can get hit, and we can hit others, and we can play tag, and we can play hide and go seek. What other games? I don't remember. There's other ones I know, but I don't know what they're called anymore. And we can have fun with each other rather than run from each other. There's a kid inside, and I have him with me always.